Well, if you took the 17 and a half points, you sweated that one out. 123 to 100. The Kings light the beam, handled their business. Not a lot to really pick through. Certainly a few things that we'll get into. Welcome your phone calls. Get up in here. Show's about you. I'll be taking you the rest of the way, but the beam's lit. Kings put another one in the right column, and we're here for it. Let's get down to it. I'm sure a lot of you are going to talk about the Jonas Valanciunas, his public workout for Sacramento. Usually private. Tonight it was public. That and a bunch more here on the post-game show on If You Don't Like That.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we ride strong and proud. Running up the score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
Winning.
Light the beam! Light it!
Light the damn beam. Kings win, handle their business. You turn your attention a little bit to Keon Ellis, who had a great shooting night from beyond the arc tonight. 18 minutes for him, 18 points. That's pretty efficient. But took another little hit to that ankle. He tweaked it again, so we'll see what happens there. But overall, again, look, you could nitpick at the fouls. You can nitpick that this thing was probably closer longer than it should be. But the bottom line is last season, this game was competitive. Teams like this came into the G1C and it's like, oh, there's no beam, or we were lucky to escape that. You win by 23. One of the things that I definitely took to just kind of the chemistry, how this team, in a sense, is playing for each other. And it wasn't so much the 46 minutes, the first 46 minutes that led me to that. It's Isaiah Crawford, a two-way guy, getting in the game, getting his first, I believe, NBA points, and seeing the bench get up for him, get excited for him. Not just the guys that are dressed, but Devin Carter, IJ in the back row. Great to see. So a lot to talk about here. Valanciunas is going to be the talking point, certainly. I can only imagine what the chat is saying right now. Ryno, I want Valanciunas. Give me Valanciunas. I'm sure we're going to be getting some of that. But as we start to go through it, would love to get your thoughts, get your input on this one. Trade deadline coming up. A couple of things interesting to me in this one. Before garbage time, Kevin Huerter only played 6 minutes. 6 minutes tonight for him. In part, was it the lineups? Not so much. Keon playing well, plays a role into it, but 6 minutes in a game where you didn't have Devin Carter, that surprised me a little bit. Kyle Kuzma, how did he look to you tonight? What'd you think? Jerry Reynolds said at the half that, this Washington team, bottom of the barrel, worst team this year in the NBA, if you look statistically. But just watching the product, everything they've got going right now is a little bit backwards. I thought Jared did a great job of explaining that. But before tip-off, Kyle Kuzma went over and greeted Vivek Ranadive. Take it for what you will. Kings have reportedly been courting Kyle Kuzma for many off seasons. So is what it is. So get up in here. Let's hear from you. We will make it fun. I don't. What's going on tonight, Azikon? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Goodbye. Out of here, dude.
That's terrible.
Don't do it. Come on. Be better. 6 minutes, fine with you. Absolutely. No on Kuz for Rock. Kuzma looked lukewarm, but he's a decent player. Yeah. You know who looks more than lukewarm? Domantas Sabonis. Guy is playing some of the best basketball of his career right now this season. And that's saying something considering his body of work here in Sacramento. He goes 12 for 16 from the floor, very efficient, 29 points, 18 rebounds, 29 and 18 there. De'Aaron Fox, 13 assists tonight. That is 3 off of his career total of 16. A little bit more of a quiet night from scoring wise. 24 or plus 24, I should say, overall for him, but 12 points in this one. Look, again, with the time off this team has, especially between last game to this game, and now you get a couple of days leading into Golden State, who play Boston tomorrow, by the way, and all eyes on them about Steph Curry. Steph says he's going to be ready to go, good to go. But Draymond Green, what's that MRI ultimately going to reveal on his, I believe it's his calf. So the Kings may be getting a break there as well. And I'll give it to you here. Valanciunas looked really good tonight. It was a good reminder of how talented he is for a guy that big. Would he look good in a Kings uniform? Certainly. Absolutely. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not going to try to play devil's advocate there. I think, though, the follow-up question to that is, at what cost? 2 second-round picks is not going to swing him, especially if you're talking about trying to nab him before other moves start falling in the NBA and the trade deadline. So at what cost are you willing to part with a piece right now that's in your rotation? When I saw Kevin kind of hurt his shoulder, I'm like, uh-oh. Like, keep that guy wrapped up. So he is one of the pieces definitely being shopped by this team indeed. Again, if you want to get up in here, we would love to talk to you tonight. You can scan the QR code on the screen. You can hit the link right there, and we'll get down to it. I'm going to go. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for dropping off. I was going to give you one more try just in case. It was like our guy, Mr. Fister. Okay. Last try, bro. Be ready. What's going on? Postgame show. Postgame show, you on? Yeah. Goodbye. And they're DMing. Come on. So anyways, this one blown open really in the fourth quarter. The third quarter, I thought, bad ending to the third to a degree, and then you get the Keon shot that makes it look better. I thought the Kings ended the first quarter very poorly as well. But overall, this team continues to grow, and they're going to have to continue that growing as this next road trip. You can't look ahead past the Warriors on Wednesday, but the next night after that, you have Denver, and then you are facing 4, 5, 6 really good teams in this Western Conference. In fact, let's throw the schedule up for you really quick. Here's what the Kings will be looking at coming up after Golden State on Wednesday, which is a national TV game, by the way. You've got Denver, second night of a back-to-back. You got the Knicks, Brooklyn, Philly, OKC, and Minnesota. That's a heck of a trip. So what are your expectations for that trip? What are you looking for this team to do during that? I'd love to get your take on it. And also that Golden State game here on Wednesday definitely will still be competitive, definitely will still be interesting because you can't take the play-in game, you can't take last game as if the Kings have moved on from Golden State. That's always going to be a tough matchup for them. And yeah, fresh in mind, they look really good, but Collins and Valanciunas, not sure how they would work. For sure, get Valanciunas. Well, again, I would say at what cost? Johnny talking about the all-star voting. Absolutely. Go vote. Hey, if Domantas Sabonis is not an all-star this year, there's no way. Well, actually, I shouldn't say there's no way, because there's definitely a way. We've seen Malik Monk not get the sixth man of the year. But if Domantas Sabonis is not an all-star, I would be shocked. There's no way this guy can't be an all-star, especially with some of the big guys leaving the West, like Cat went East. I know you've got Julius Randle that's in the West now, but the Timberwolves have kind of been floundering. The Kings, going hot. They've won a lot under Doug Christie since he's taken over. It kind of feels like a little bit of a new start. 42nd game of the season. Kings moved 2 games over 500. It feels like maybe that will put a little bit of extra emphasis on the voting for people outside of the fans. Ryan, what's not to love about how the team's playing right now? They're playing the style of basketball that Sacramento fans love. Hustle, hustle, hustle. I agree with you 100% there. Hustle is great from this team. Defense turning into offense. I think the big thing for them is consistency. It's physicality, really. Can you play that physical style for as close to 48 minutes as possible? But no, this has been probably the best run of basketball at the Golden One Center since the Kings have moved in. Can you think of a better run of basketball in front of your home fans? I believe this was 5 or 6 in a row for the Kings. And I thought Doug Christie really embodied a lot of it in his comments after last game. I know the ending of it was a little funny, but he's got this city and he's got this team ready to run through a wall right now.
Arco Arena had its own, there was wood and metal and concrete, and when you start bouncing all that together, it makes strange sounds. And this building is beginning to define itself. Golden One Center is part of my message to them is like, nobody comes in your house messing with your stuff. You must protect your house. And to watch the way that they continuously fight possession after possession after possession. And I know from being somebody who played in front of these people that they truly, truly appreciate when you open your coat and you say, this is me, baby. I'm here and this is what I'm going to do. So for me, like, that's like a super huge thing, is like when you come to SAC, we're getting down. And I love what the guys are bringing.
And they have definitely been getting down as of late. Still a lot to go over in this one, a lot leading up to the trade deadline, road trip coming up, your comments. But first, let's go to the phones. Corn Dog, batting leadoff tonight. What's up, Corn?
Oh, man. So I'm actually very far from home, but I was able to catch this game.
Where are you, my man?
Funny enough, damn right near where the Wizards are. I'm actually in Maryland right now.
Oh, wow. Way to stay up, man.
Yeah, man. I don't think I could be a Kings fan on the East Coast permanently if I lived out here.
Yeah, a lot of people were starting to wonder about you, making sure you were okay.
Yeah, so actually I'm on a company trip. I'm in the middle of my 2 weeks here. We have to help out another depot.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, what'd you like about tonight?
Honestly, just during this whole Doug Christie era, they're playing with they're playing like kind of Doug Christie style. Like they're putting in a lot of effort into everything they've been doing. And, the only having one loss under Doug Christie speaks a lot for itself. And it was to a pretty good Milwaukee team. Like, that's a title contender every year.
2 losses. They've got 2. They lost the first one to the Lakers.
Oh, you're right. My bad. Yeah, I forgot that one. But yeah, again, they've been playing very well compared with Mike Brown this season. Just win percentage wise, effort wise, I believe, like closing out games, because usually we start off hot and then we fall apart. Where this game was one where we didn't end the first quarter too well, or really even the third quarter, but fourth quarter we took care of the business.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Look, Washington never really had a legit chance in this. I thought the Kings were sloppy in certain areas, but when you're playing a team like that, it's just hard to get up. It is really hard to come out. And I guess that's the next step in the journey, and Doug Christie will probably dial some of that in when they look back at this film. But the bottom line is, I as many people did, Corn Dog, didn't think the Kings would cover the spread at 17.5. They did.
Yeah, that's
23.
a big spread.
Yeah. So credit to them. That's a spread they definitely do not cover last year.
Although the Washington fans aren't too sad. They were done cheering their ass off last night.
Yeah, they hit a lot of threes last night for sure. Well, dude, thanks for staying up late with us. Hope the rest of the trip goes well, and continued good luck on your corn dog beam that you're working on. Hopefully that
Yep,
works out, brother.
yeah, I'm actually starting to talk with the Maryland Council, to try and get this nationwide corn dog beam.
There you go, brother. I like it. Be well.
Uh,
Corn dog checking in from DC.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. A corn dog beam, that would not be good for anybody. Be good for him. Wouldn't be good for anybody else. GP, what's going on tonight, buddy? GP, you there? GP's been having issues with the stream as well. I saw a great question. Are we worried? Am I worried about breaking up the chemistry of this team? Not really. What chemistry? I get that. Look, things have looked great the last 9 games, 10 games, 11 games under Doug Christie. But if you take the entire sample size of the Beam team together, I don't know. I think that we've probably hit the top of the chemistry in terms of what this team. I shouldn't say chemistry, but the top of the ceiling of what this team realistically can do together. So I'm not saying that you make massive changes, but I don't think any of the moves that are on the table at this trade deadline would affect, in turn, the chemistry of this core. Now, if we're talking about the offseason and different moves that may be bigger, then yeah, I think it's something you have to look at. But it really depends on how you define chemistry and what you see this team as. Do you see this team as having, and Jerry and I talked about this at halftime, having aspirations of being the top offensive rated team in the league again, having the best rating in the history of the association? Or do you see him doing it a different route? Do you see him doing it somewhere in the middle? And I kind of see it a little bit more in the middle, if not a little bit more slanted towards the defense. I think the chemistry on this team starts in 2 places. It's Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis. That's where the chemistry starts right there. When you're out without Malik Monk, this offense looks drastically different. And I don't think Malik Monk's going anywhere for a multitude of different reasons. So outside of that core, which everybody else kind of feeds on, builds on, I don't think Keon's going anywhere anytime soon, even though teams might be inquiring about him, especially if you're trying to make a move like everybody's talking about Valanciunas, Collins. Why not ask about Keon? His contract's very friendly, and he plays a style that can fit into pretty much any offense in the NBA. But bringing on a Valanciunas for a Herter and a Lyles, that doesn't drastically change chemistry. But if you're looking at a much bigger move, then yeah, you got to talk about it. But to me, that chemistry begins with Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis. Fox shouldn't be taking that many shots. He only took 12 shots tonight. He only took 12 shots, y'all. 12 shots? Even though Fox didn't hit his shots, he was doing other things well. He did. He was a plus 24 tonight. Look, I guess this is kind of that crossroads, right? Where there's a lot of people that think you're either Team Fox or not Team Fox, right? But the real heart of that conversation about De'Aaron's ultimate role on a team, or what he can be, what his ceiling is, it really starts at this. It's can you affect the game for 48 minutes? Does he affect the game at 48 minutes? Sometimes he's very effective. Sometimes he kind of falls off. Tonight, he found a way to affect the game in different areas. 13 assists, 2 steals. I thought his defense was tremendous. 1 block. Now, with a grain of salt, Not the most talented Wizards team either, which partially, if I'm going to nitpick and pick this one apart a little bit, I'm going to start right here. The Kings fouled them way too many times. Kings committed 20 fouls tonight, y'all. The Kings sent the Wizards to the free throw line how many times? 32 times? That's a problem. So, look, we can talk about player by player by player. The bottom line is the Kings got out of this one tonight as they should have, and they move on to face at 22-20. 22-20. It's incredible stuff. Let's go back to GP, see if he's ready. GP, what's going on tonight, brother? GP, not ready. All right. So we will keep it rolling, keep taking your questions, digging a little bit deeper into this thing, and really enjoying another beam for the Kings under Doug Christie. Jonas is elite compared to Len. They're completely different players. Completely. B Fids, what's up, man? Ryan Fox with 13 assists, but only 12 points. Team played great. Is this what we need more of instead of Fox getting 30 points with less assists? Absolutely. 100%. But not to, like I said, somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. The offense, the focal point of the offense, in my opinion, should not be centered around De'Aaron Fox. In fact, the focal point of this Kings offense should not be centered around one person. It should be centered at minimum around two, and that's around the pick and roll. It's whoever is running that the most, because it's putting pressure on the other team. It's putting pressure on the defense, which in turn, if you're going to play an up-style brand of basketball like we saw tonight, like Doug Christie talks about, we've seen the pace rising and rising for this team as Doug Christie has taken over, then that's going to wear a team down over 48 minutes. And I think the Kings definitely have the guys. They have the motor to be able to do that. But what happens is, and to a degree, maybe it happened a little tonight, 39 three-pointers. The Kings only hit 12 of those for 30.8%. But when this team relies too much on the three ball, that's where my issue is with Foxy. I think there's too many spot up threes where there's opportunities to get a better shot or set a teammate up. So I think if you rely less on the three for him, and tonight he only took 5, I'm good with that. I've always said if Fox's assists are in line or near his 3-point attempts, usually you're getting the best version of Fox. So let's see. I'd love to keep Fox for no more than $40 million a year. Yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen. 40 mil is probably going to be the going rate for him. All right, GP, I'm going to try you one more time. GP, what's going on tonight? All right, GP, you're out. 3 strikes and you're out,
That's
my man.
terrible.
GP, you've been calling long enough. Why can't you figure this out? Ball 8, my man. Come on. Come on, GP. Come on. Christie for coach of the year. Let's slow down. No. Kill demo. Yes, time to beat the Warriors. Absolutely. It's, again, the Kings, we said it coming into this homestand, needed to be a 3-0 homestand. Starting to look that way. It is beginning to look that way for the Kings, and got the Warriors. You get 2 more days of rest. Can't beat that. The Wizards now go to another game under 500. 1-17 on the road. Tony, what's going on tonight? Or Michael, what's up, Michael?
Hey, Ryan. Hey, you and Grant had commented a couple times that Fox didn't look like he wanted to be there in the last couple of games. This game I saw, he wasn't lighting up the scoreboard with 30, 40 points, but he looked like he wanted to be there and he was having fun with the team. Did you notice the same thing?
Yeah, he looked involved. He looked more involved in the game tonight than he has in look, the Houston game, he was involved at the end defensively, but offensively, he was just kind of up and down, not really doing a ton or not trying to get overly involved. And I think that's the fine line with Fox, Michael. It's like sometimes you just blend in and sometimes you clearly look like the best player on the floor. And a lot of times there's nothing in between.
Yeah, my concerns with trading Fox if we don't get, a great piece in return is, for example, that Heat game, we had like the first three quarters where it was tough to score, and you wish you had Fox to go get a bucket. And there just wasn't a guy who could go get a bucket until, we saw Ellis and DeRozan, do well in the fourth. But, the first three quarters, it was really rough. And I was like, dang, I wish Fox was in there. And I'd be concerned if we got rid of him for that
Fair
regard.
enough. Fair enough. I appreciate that. Thanks, Michael.
All right, later.
Later, brother. Yeah, I think we put at times a little bit too much on abilities to go get a bucket per se. Um, it's tough. DeMar DeRozan makes a career off of that. He's really good at doing the ISO. It's just, if you look at the combinations, I guess what we're trying, or the points that we have been trying to kind of go over with the numbers and what De'Aaron does, and not knocking De'Aaron for what he does or what he doesn't do. You can put all that to the side. What we're saying is, if De'Aaron's not on the floor, you have five guys. You have 5 to 6 pieces on this team that are playing well over their averages. In fact, much over their averages. Let's put this up really quick for you. We'll get this updated. But they're playing well over their average. Let me go to the half screen for you, and we will get this one right up. Here we go. And so if the Kings are looking to go more towards a team style of basketball, here you go. So you've got your 5-man combinations here. If we highlight DeRozan, Fox, Murray, and Sabonis, and then we highlight also DeRozan, Ellis, Monk, Murray, and Sabonis, and we show only those selected combinations, this is where the conversation gets interesting, because you genuinely have a bunch of pieces that fit really well together, that show you that they can get buckets. In fact, they get more buckets than the team average together when they're on the court. So if you look at the DeRozan, Ellis, Monk, Murray, and Sabonis minutes, 103, 5-1, that combination is played this year. These pluses and these minuses are against the team's averages. So that unit is averaging more than 9.3 made field goals. That unit's averaging more than 7.4 field goal attempts, which means they're doing it more efficient. So I guess, Michael, what I'm saying is you're going to be in less situations where you need to go get a bucket per se. And not saying that that doesn't include Fox in the formula again, but what we're saying is there's pieces here in Sacramento that are starting to rise to the top and showing you they play very well together. So if you're talking about maybe tweaking that core, if we're going back to the start of the show with that question about DeRozan, Ellis, Monk, Murray, and Sabonis, I'd like to see more basketball from those guys, quite frankly. It's not enough of a sample size. Not nearly enough of a sample size yet. So we'll see what goes on with that. But back to the big thing. The Kings win tonight, 123 to 100. Monk's contract is a steal. Completely agree with you. Kings beating the Warriors. I would hope so, especially with guys dinged up. Baby Cakes, what's up? Monk was a high draft pick. He's not a bust. We're talking about busts, huh? Ryan, there's two guys I want handling the ball, Monk and Fox. So getting rid of Fox severely weakens this team. Tim, okay, I don't think we need to open this entire can of worms tonight. I think we have plenty of time because I don't think De'Aaron Fox is going anywhere at the trade deadline. If anything, that possible move or that decision will come this offseason from either side. But there's an argument both ways, Tim. I think that's all that a lot of people are saying. Hope Sabonis has a hard foul. He might not have the opportunity, Cody. He might not have the opportunity. Draymond hurt his calf last game. He's getting an MRI today. Sabonis was great. Again, absolutely great. I thought the telecast, I thought Katie had a little bit of a rough night. She forgot Sabonis was the reigning Western Conference Player of the Week. Happens to the best of us. But he is playing the best basketball that I can remember of his career here in Sacramento. The Kings have the best 10-game record in the West. Yeah, they're doing well. In fact, the Western Conference, again, outside of the top three, Oklahoma City, lock them in. That's going to be your top seed in the West. I think it'll be between Memphis and Houston for that 2 seed and 3 seed. And after that, I think it is very, very fluid. Let's see. DeMar ice cold in Miami the first 3 quarters. Yeah, but so they were cold. Absolutely. But again, that was a game. Both teams, you can't just sit there and look at the statistics without understanding the context of the game. That game was a freaking battle. You were fighting for everything in that game. That game was a race to 100. It was physical. The Kings played the night before that game, and Miami was the team that ended up getting gassed out, not the Kings. So every game's a little bit different when it comes to that. But yeah, guys are going to have their cold nights, and it's up to your teammates to pick you up. No doubt about that. And I think, again, that's why I started the show where I did. I'm very encouraged by the cohesion of this team. I think it's really important. In fact, Doug Christie, before, if you weren't with us earlier today, talked about the importance of hitting the road and what can happen on the road in this upcoming road trip.
Doing other things.
It's important. The road is a lot of times where you end up defining yourself. It's a lot of times where you end up finding yourself because it's you against the world out there. It's your group that's on that bus, in that locker room, on the plane, and when you land, you're in a different city, and when you walk into that arena, it's you against them. So for us, I think you find out a lot about yourself on the road, and I've always thought that even since being a player. Like being at home, there's a comfort in different things, and this building is incredible. So the fans are incredible, but on the road, we have to find the joy in going in someone.
I think the Kings have found that joy to a degree. Oh, we're getting the phone line going. Welcome into the post-game show. I'm pretty sure it's TC. What's up, TC?
Ryno, what's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Man, like the beam tonight, man. The Kings, I try to tell everybody. Like the beam, I try to tell everybody it's going to be special, man. This is going to be more special than being Team 1 when we made the playoffs. I'm telling everybody. But check it out. Listen, that's not going to mess the chemistry up. Leave Valanciunas and Kuzma. I'm ready to take Kuzma too, but if we don't pull the Kuzma off, give Valanciunas and Collins. That's all we need right now. That's what we need. Anything else, Ryno, we'll worry about it in the summer. And the thing with Fox, if Fox gonna stay, he gonna stay, bro. But we'll worry about that in the summer. Right now, as far as the trade, I'm out on Cam Johnson. I'm cool on Cam Johnson. Right now, the trade that we made is Valanciunas and Collins to add with what we got right now, bro. And we finna make a real run. That's all I got, bro.
All right, TC, be well. I don't know about a real run, but I would be excited to see how the rest of the season goes. Hell, I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes right now with the guys that the Kings have. Definitely need some upgrades, but you add a Valanciunas, you add a Collins for the right deal. Again, You don't want to take away or give up anything that could have a big impact on this season or the future to get one of those two. It's not the time to take that kind of risk because even if you get one of those guys, I don't think this is a team that's over the top. I think this is a team that probably, at best, like if we're talking ceiling and busting through the ceiling, Western Conference Finals with one of those two. I don't think there's a trade at the deadline that possibly takes you over the top. This team still has some steps to go, but the good news is this team is in a decent spot financially. They don't have a bad contract, and that's why that De'Aaron Fox decision is a very big one. So don't give up on a Devin Carter. Don't give up on a Keon Ellis. Don't give up on some of those pieces until you really know what you have, because really Keon, you don't know what you have in Keon. We think we know. He's the second best three-point shooter on the team. Defensively, he's turning into a heck of a defender, but the sample size is still relatively small with Keon compared to some of the other guys that are considered part of the core of this team. Kevin Huerter, he's in his third season here in Sacramento. We pretty much know what we have in Kevin. And now that the offense has changed to a degree, that changes the fit in some ways. That changes the looks that guys get. The biggest thing that has, in my opinion, led to a little bit of a regression with Keegan Murray, a little bit of a regression with Kevin Huerter, and even an overall regression with the three-point shooting was the fact that this team took so long to move away from the dribble handoff. They continued hammering at the DHO at a time when Domas was, and you know what, really quick, we're going to get back to the DHO thing, but Doug Christie deserves a lot of credit. This team deserves a lot of credit because you are having Domas do exactly what he should be doing right now, and you're seeing him thrive. Instead of having him on the perimeter administrating the offense, because that's what happens when you don't have a Malik Monk, then you have Domas administrating the offense. But to see tonight, Domas, 4 assists, that's where Domas should be. When Domas has 4, 5, 6 assists, it usually means he's got 18 rebounds. It usually means he has 30 points. That's where he's thriving at his best. And Doug Christie has recognized that, and to a degree, Mike Brown recognized that as well when they put Malik Monk in the starting lineup and made him the point guard. But getting back to the dribble handoff, I think that staying with it for as long as they did, allowing teams to adjust to it the way that they did without further tweaking the dribble handoff, putting a different wrinkle in without Sabonis shooting the threes, keeping defenses honest, that led to more difficult looks for Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter. Guys are finishers, those guys, not creators. Don't know what that was. That was interesting. Thanks for joining us here on the post-game show. Really appreciate it. We are back tomorrow with a ton of content. The Kings Court tomorrow, 1 p.m. We will be here. I'm sure Napes is also going to be around as well. He'll be back next game against the Warriors. We'll be back together, and we've got a full week coming up for you. A lot to still talk about between the NFL. You've got the Final Four in the NFL, which way you go in there. Mark Andrews, an absolutely heartbreaking drop. It's a reminder why there's nothing like sports. You can have a tight end, their career is incredible. They're headed for the Hall of Fame, and a drop like that can define a career. Baby Cakes, Keon is a high IQ player. Yes, he is. And you're seeing the IQ with this team really start to flourish. And I think that's important as well. I think the biggest thing this team has missed for the longest time is a true point guard. And Malik Monk now is the closest thing this Kings team has had in 3 years to a true point guard running it. Baki, what's up tonight, brother?
Hey, hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm fine. Okay, I'm gonna be short because you're gonna turn it off. So I would like to say something about a lot of people are saying Valanciunas should be brought to the Kings team. First of all, I like the guy a lot. Plus, he's old school basketball player. Also, that European tradition of basketball never hurt nobody. But let's take a look into some crucial thing about the Kings game right now. You all remember we had a problem with Domas trying to dribble by himself and put the ball from coast to coast. What gave us a lot of turnovers and also cost us that first round exit 2 years ago. So I don't know how he will be fit with Valanciunas. If you put anybody into that number 5 position into center, that will move Sabonis more towards the line, and that will put more balls into his hands. So I don't know, my opinion, then back to old problems. So I don't know if you're a coach, how can you base your game with two guys, two bigs into Sacramento Kings? Maybe in some other teams, but with Sacramento, with doing stuff like this under Christie, and I don't know what kind of game will that be. You cannot test if you're gonna trade, if you're gonna start with that. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be a good move, but for me, more it will be a bad move.
I don't know that you're gonna see them on the court together that much. If that, I mean, we'll hit that if they get traded or he gets
Yeah,
traded
that's
here.
extra. That's extra. You
Yeah,
cannot see them a lot of time together on the court. So uh, you are slowing the team down now when you develop this ball movement like before. If you remember,
yep,
that's the times we were number 3. It wasn't just like that. We were number 3. You know my opinion. It's not about Mike Brown. We were number 3. We were number 3 because of great ball movement, great
right.
handling, and great. So now I see it. Now I see it again. So I don't know if you will anyway, if you put any trade of Sacramento Kings, if that will be the plus or maybe the minus, I really don't know. It's really big mystery for me personally.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and that's why Monty makes the big bucks, and they're gonna have to figure that out. The bottom line is they're gonna have to try to do something because the West is not gonna wait around. The NBA is not waiting around.
Yeah,
Teams are
right now.
taking risks.
Uh,
So,
uh, so, can you imagine if that uh, lose column has continued? You
oh,
can be 100. You can be 100 positive that Kings will do some trades, like it or not, or if want it or not, they will do something. But right now, when you have uh, how much 10 games, 8-2 or 9-2, I don't know right now, 7, 8, 9, okay, 9-2 with Christie, and all this game with Kings, which is really different from the previous one.
yeah.
I don't know, it's someone will say it's sweet. Sweet, I don't know how to say to be understand the best, but uh, it's something like you want to do something and you don't want to touch anything.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Hey, Bach, thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Yep.
See ya.
I thought really quick, one stretch of basketball tonight. There was one stretch that embodied to me what this Kings team wants to be. I thought it encapsulated it absolutely perfectly, and it happened in the first quarter. Domas hits a three. The team gets an offensive rebound. He hits another three, and then he shoots the gap, gets a turnover, takes it the entire distance, dunks the ball, 8-0 run right there for Domas. I thought that was a perfect encapsulation of how this team wants to play. It's defense into offense. It's hustle. It's smart shots. It's taking what the defense gives you. That was a perfect little stretch for me. And we're starting to see more and more of those glimpses as the Doug Christie quote unquote era continues here in Sacramento. I think it's a great point. Keon is turning into a very good player. For those asking about Drew Timme, he was traded. The Stockton Kings traded him. Some people saying part of it is upstairs for De'Aaron Fox. I think there's something to that. I think that sometimes attention gets channeled or energy is channeled to the wrong places, like the officials, but he's not the only one on the team that does that from time to time. A lot of talk about Keegan Murray as well. I think this franchise would be making a massive mistake, and I'm hearing that any team that's asking, or at least as of a couple of weeks ago, that was asking for Keegan Murray, it was not on the table. And I think this team would be making a big mistake if they traded Keegan Murray. One thing that's really sticking out to me is we're so hyper-focused on his three-point shooting and his struggles offensively. But if you just zoom out a little bit and you look at the bigger picture of what this young man's doing defensively, if you look at how he has improved in other areas of his game, I mean, just his quickness, his bounciness of getting off the court. He is much quicker with his jump than he has been in postseasons. You've seen that with explosions at the rim here and there where you think he's going to lay it up. He is on this beautiful progression. At the very least, if his three-point shooting is going to be the three-point shooting, if that's what it's going to be, what we've seen so far this season, but you get everything else, he is going to be a key piece to a very good team for a very long time. Think back to the Oklahoma City days when they had Durant and Westbrook. They had Cephalosha. Guy didn't shoot very well, but he sure as hell did everything else. Defensively, he was swinging the ball around. So I think trading Keegan Murray would be a very, very big mistake. I think there is still a lot there. I heard Katie say tonight she thinks he's going to be an all-star, but he guards your other team's best player every single night. And for a lot of his teammates to come out and reinforce that to the media, I've heard De'Aaron Fox say it. I've heard Malik Monk say it. You've heard Coach Brown say it. You've heard Doug Christie say it. They're not saying that to take the young man's back. Like, get off of him. They're not saying get off of him, lay off of him because he's not making shots. They're recognizing how hard of a thing that is to do night in and night out. And Keegan has done it flawlessly. That was never, think about Keegan Murray from his rookie year. It was all about the three-point shooting, right? You break the three-point shooting rookie record or made threes. Did anybody have on their bingo card that he was going to turn into this defensive player? I sure as hell did not. Bass, Keegan Murray, should Fox surely be off the trademark? Keegan Murray should for surely be off. Okay, I got you. Thank you. Appreciate that. The refs stole the game at the Texans. Too many penalties called. Dude, Mahomes, he gets a good call. That's been stereotypical for the NBA, but the NFL, are you freaking kidding me? That's wiggled its way into the NFL. I know. Fox can't dribble. You didn't see him trip on his own foot. Look. You can never judge a player off of one play. Although 3/4 of America is doing it tonight with Mark Andrews, or 3/4 of the Twitterverse is doing it tonight with Mark Andrews. Fox has been dealing with a finger injury on his strong hand. You've got to consider that. I like the Fox that we saw tonight. The passive, the defensive, the Fox that was penetrating, touching paint, spraying it out. I liked that Fox. The defense, as I said, very, very solid. Huge reason the Kings won this game against Houston a few nights ago. Massive reason. The Kings shooting 13 of 13 in the free throw or from the free throw line in the fourth quarter. Big reason as well. I'm great with that Fox. If that's the consistent Fox, let's talk. This team can have something. But, you know, for as consistent as Domantas Sabonis is, you could equally argue De'Aaron Fox is the complete opposite when it comes to consistency. And I mean that with no disrespect. I mean that with you can have a half with 2 or 4 points and then a quarter with 17 or 18. You can have a half where he's barely shooting the ball, or you could have a quarter where he's chucking up a ton of threes. You don't always know what you're going to get there. And so I think that if you had to put one big knock other than maybe talking to the officials, it's the consistency. We know he's clutch, but would you trade the clutch for consistent? That's the big question. Yeah, everybody's still talking NFL. Definitely. Yeah. So anyways, we're going to get ready to get out. I got no Grant. People aren't calling. All good. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for being here. By the way, on the post game, we are back at it. If you don't join us during the week and you only join us on these shows, make sure you come back during the week. We've got a ton of great programming. Grant and Sean talk football on Wednesdays. Jerry, Grant, and I do the Kings Roundtable on Wednesdays as well. You've got the Kings Court Monday through Friday here on the channel, usually beginning at 1 p.m. Make sure you check that out. That show is a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody who is helping that show grow as well. Appreciate all of you. And we'll be all over what's up next for this Kings team. Ton of encouraging, very encouraging things coming out of this building. Even just the way this week came together for them. The stuff they did leading up to this game, you're starting to see a lot of that chemistry grow a little bit more off the court. And so if any of us thought this team was going to have a chance at having a reset button this season, the day Mike Brown got fired, we'd all be lying. So it's a very, very exciting time to be a Kings fan. Yes, I know you believe in Joe Hendry, my man.
Acknowledge me.
Because you just saw Joe Hendry. He must have won. Don't tell me. Don't spoil it. So anyways, Kings win 123-100. Looking forward to talking to you all tomorrow. And make sure you come back for everything we got going on this week. We'll be breaking it down in full. We'll have audio from after the game. I'll be going back and rewatching the game before tomorrow. So a lot to talk about. Grant likely back tomorrow as well. So thank you very much. Kings 22-20 on the season. 2 games now over 500. Our direction turns to Wednesday night, the Golden State Warriors in a 3-0 homestand. At the very least, you will remain at over 500 after this homestand. That's the biggest thing for this team, staying at or above 500 the rest of the season. Huge. So good job, Kings. Good job by all of you. Ugly game, but Kings win. The beam, is lit. Can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. Have a great rest of the night. So long.